everyone, this is Renee Lindhorst, and this is my review of Plugged In, Technology, Rhetoric, and Culture in a Post-Human Age. Alright, so it's edited by Lynn Worsham and Gary A. Olson, and it's a collection of essays, by the way. So part one is called Cyber Bodies in a Post-Human Age, and it examines how technology is inalterably redefining what it means to be a human being. The first essay, Cybernetics, Ethos, and Ethics, is by Christy S. Fleckenstein. And so she starts with a metaphor. And okay, so the metaphor is Lewis Carroll's bread and butter fly, and it's a character in the Alice in Wonderland story. It's got this head that's made out of sugar, and and it flies over to a cup of weak tea and cream, and then it dunks its head, and its head just kind of dissolves. It's a metaphor for boundary blurring by way of technology and abandoning identities in order to survive in an unstable world, an unstable system. Sometimes abandoning identities and boundary blurring leads to unethical behaviors and decisions. So it's hard to decide who has the greatest ethical authority because everybody's reality is different. Power is being shifted constantly, and meaning making is being shifted and distributed amongst all kinds of people instead of just maybe a group of people or a couple groups. So texts are affected by the blurring, and so are tangible things like our bodies. I kind of think of the Bionic Woman, but I think that's kind of transhumanist. I'm trying to stay within the post-humanist realm. But basically, you're supposed to look at technology, like the camera. What does the camera do for you? What does it do for others? How much power does the camera have, and how does it affect your body? And, I mean, you just ask all kinds of questions. So, Fleckenstein addresses these issues of character and ethicality, and she thinks that the problem can be resolved through Aristotle ethos and Batesonian cybernetics. And cybernetics is the science of creating boundaries and constraints. And out of these two epistemologies comes a concept of cyber ethos. So basically, ethical boundaries in the cyber world. So through cyber ethos, people can recognize the fluidity of identity while staying grounded in ethics. Cyber ethos demands that humans stay connected to ethicality, because without it, we do not have a chance to survive. But I guess they see a lot of behavior that's disturbing, and a lot of these theorists in this book talk about these behaviors are coming from younger generations, and it has something to do with transhumanism. So anyways, so the solution is that people take responsibility and have this attitude that it's like Aristotle, good character can provide the best kind of persuasion. So it's kind of like a rule of thumb, you know. So we also have the ability to recognize, we have to have the ability to recognize unethical behaviors, and we have to have the ability to do the self-assessments. And technology can assist us with both of these things. Chapter 2, Screen and Information. Bodies in Writing and Network Culture by Jennifer L. Bay. So I'm going to backtrack before I talk about Bay. So Fleckenstein talks about a model of understanding society through monitoring communication between man and machine and machine and machine and machine and man through the machine. So basically, it was a really complex model, but how I think about it is what we're doing in class when we're like observing the conversations on Wikipedia, or we're observing Facebook or our blog. Fleckenstein kind of encourages this, and so does Bay. And Bay actually, in her chapter, she talks about the actual doing it, the monitoring it, and how to realize the shifts in identity and the shifts in relationships, and then the redefining of what it means to be human. So chapter 3 is called Our Cyber Bodies, Ourselves, Conceptual Grounds for Teaching Commodities to Write, by Stanley D. Harrison. And he touches on the teaching of a new kind of student. And the students are self-destructive, self-absorbed, narcissists, all that kind of stuff, self-acquisition, stuff like that. And that pedagogy, post-humanist pedagogy, has to intervene with these things. And he's telling teachers to just stick with post-humanism. Okay, so part 2 is called Rhetoric and Writing in a Digital Age, and it explores the effects of technology on the workings of pedagogy, rhetoric, and public discourse. So chapter 4 is, I know that some of my classmates will really like chapter 4. So it's called The Available Means of Persuasion by David M. Sheridan, Jim Rodolfo, and Anthony Michel. So what they do is they kind of use utopian theory to construct this system of equalizing, or kind of giving power back, not giving power back, to redistributing power through technology. So what they want is for the culture, for teachers to help build a culture that knows how to critique mass media, consumerism, divisions of labor, reproduction and copyright, distribution, and they argue that rhetorical education can do this. And they can help prepare non-specialists, students, and citizens to deploy a multimodal rhetoric that's effective within the public arena. And I mean, they talk a lot about kairos, the opportune moment, and basically that consumerism is being redefined through technology, and to really, really think about what that means. I'm sure there's all kinds of books on this already. So, well, one example that they use is the film industry. And so Hollywood controls a lot of the meaning making in our society, and that's dangerous because they have too much power and too much money. And so basically, once you give your students a video camera, you're basically giving them, redistributing some of that power, the power to make their own meaning, you know? So it's really good. It's really good to learn how to use a camera. Okay, so part 3 is called Network Culture. And this is where emerging theories are coming from, like emerging groups of people, new groups, post-feminists, all kinds of people that maybe we don't know a lot about, we haven't studied a lot. But this is to pay attention. They tell us to pay attention to basically Zion culture, and that they argue that we're all compositionists, and so we should all take each other seriously. And so this book basically just encourages its readers and students and teachers to use theory and apply it to technology and new media. And that's it. Thanks. Bye.